So I'm really happy now to invite on stage someone with an incredible first name, Tim Benniks. Nice seeing you here.
I like that.
We've crossed paths many ways. I've seen many of the things you've built in the past. I really like the hacker spirit you have of taking different things and building something with them. And so I'm really excited to see what you're going to show us today. I've been using Supabase myself. I've obviously been using Algolia a lot, but I want to see what is it you're going to show us today. So the stage is yours now, Tim.
Thank you so much for that. First, I want to give props to Klaus from the previous talk. Holy moly, that's a really cool implementation. I just wanted to say that quickly because maybe it didn't come off like that in the chat. Really cool stuff. Anyway, so in our space, I've been working quite a lot. First, I'm working at agencies, and now I work at startups, and I do developer relations, just like Chuck and Tim. And I am an ambassador for Algolia, but also for Supabase and Cloudinary and Nuxt. And I tend to use all these kind of together because why not? Our space has such a lot of amazing, cool things to use. And so I tend to just try things out, and then when I figure out how it works and I find best practices or not, or the community teaches me mainly, you can then talk to potential customers and say, hey, maybe do it this way or that way. And so this one is a bit more of a personal project because I moved to the countryside in France. I moved from Paris all the way here to the southwest. And apparently here, there is a problem with cats. And let me quickly share my screen to show you some cute cats. So you can look at that while I speak. Basically, there are a bunch of associations here in the countryside. Each village kind of has one, or each city, where they try and find cats that were discarded by their owners, by farmers or whatever, and that they get sick and they get a lot more cats. And it's just not good for the environment and not for these cats. And so these associations, they try to rescue the cats, give them the right medication, make sure they're neutered, and then find a lovely home for them. And so my wife and I are now involved with Libre Chat en Bastide. This is one near us. And I built this website for them because it's really hard for associations who do a lot for animals to then also have all the technical skills to build like an amazing project. And there's not that many systems for them to do like their administration, which cats have gone where, what money went to which veterinarian, stuff like that. And so this is just a front-end website for this association. As you can see, it's still a Netlify URL. So this is not live. This is just, we're currently working on it. And I just wanted to show you a little bit what this looks like. And so you can see that there's some cats here, right? And they have some information. So what I've been building, and it's so not finished that this is literally on localhost, but I still wanted to show you. So I've been thinking of all these associations that all use different ways to kind of store where this cat go? Did it get tested for certain things? Is it sterilized? Did it have medication? Is it male or female? Has it been adopted? And to whom has it been adopted? And so I created a SaaS, so software as a service, with Supabase, because Supabase can let you basically do that in like a weekend. This is a bit more than a weekend. But so what I built is basically a backend for all these associations that can basically create an account for free once I release this, and they can put all their cat data in it. And so as you can see here, there's a whole list of a bunch of cats. And currently these are fake cats. I just used AI, gave them my schema of Supabase and say, give me cats like that. And so they're in here. And as you can see, the people with keen eyes on who knows what Algolia is like, you can actually now facet filter these cats and say, I want only the female that are in this family. And now you have 16 left. And right, so, but you can then also search. And so all this is actually Algolia that is talking to its own index, which is filled by Supabase. But there's a few extra fun things here because this is using Nuxt.js. I'm a Nuxt ambassador, so why not use that, right? And so this is using the Nuxt UI library. And as you can see, all these widgets that you would normally have from Algolia out of the box, they are actually now looking exactly like how that would work in the Nuxt UI library. So I've kind of taken the instant search in Vue and then use all the customization options available in that library, which are a lot. They're super, super good, to then make it look like the Nuxt UI library. So there's even a few things extra on top where Algolia is so flexible, it's incredible. Right. And so basically, well, this image is fake. This is always the same image. And it's, I guess you could call it a cat. It's not. It is what it is. But like all this information is all in Supabase, right? And there's all these different tables for weights on certain dates. And there's what treatments did they get. You can add treatments, things like that. And so that all lives here in Supabase. So this is a big table. There's a bunch more tables here. And so I won't bore you too much with this stuff, but this is like a proper database. And so you can actually have a look at like a schema visualizer, and you see there's things connected and there's families that connect to cats. And this is a pretty serious thing. But as it turns out, you can probably get away with doing all of this custom, all this search business here in with MySQL or Postgres. But why not use Algolia? Because you get it in 1 millisecond, and it kind of just gives you this out of the box. And so that's just a really easy way to get things together once you kind of get how all these things work together. And so in Algolia, this is one of the simplest setups I've done, actually. There's a whole bunch of information for each cat. And what I did do, once I send it to Algolia, I'm adding a few extra things to make it easier. So there's like, let's see, can I find it? There's a facets field that I created that in my code, I just grab a whole bunch of Boolean files, basically, or Boolean fields, and put it in the facets array. So it's much easier now for me to go into my, where are my settings? Oh, here. And I go to faceting. I can just say, well, grab the families and the facets field and the sex of the cat, and then you get this status thing is actually those facets. But in fact, there are a lot of different fields that contribute to that. And so how I do it in my code, maybe this is a good segue to show that. Let's see. So I hope this is big enough. I'm assuming it is, because I can hardly navigate. That's how big it is. So this is my Nuxt project. And you can see this is probably quite familiar to a lot of people. I'm just getting it from Vue Instant Search. There is a little red squiggly line that I'm just going to ignore for the moment. And this is also stuff you probably know. This is the way how we would route, state mapping, router, all that stuff. Here I have my index name, which is catnipdb. This use Algolia ref actually comes out of the Nuxt module for Algolia, built by Jakub, who works at Allokai. It's a great, great tool that kind of just wraps instant search. And by doing this, I just get the clean instant search. So I'm not even really using his stuff here. Let's scroll down and show you how I set things up. And so this is probably quite familiar. We just load this from the Vue Instant Search, add a bunch of things in there, and then make it work. And of course, there are some like super customizable things here. Like, so this is the refinement list that you probably know and love. I want to just grab the facets one, the operator, all the things, and the way how it looks, I've transformed the items with like a little function and that make it slightly nicer looking. And then there's all these templates with the slots where I use a checkbox from the Nuxt interface system. And they all have templates and spans, and then I use a badge. And so you can really go deep and change everything up and make Algolia look like whatever you want it and still have accessibility in all the things. And so when we actually go to a cat page, which is, let's say this one, and I want to update the date of birth, for example, you see it automatically saves directly. And now what it did, it actually updated the cat in the database, but it also updated that property in Algolia directly as an update. So I'll show you how that works. So it added that toast that says, hey, saved. That all worked. And let's see, this save function actually has an update cat. And update cat is here in my helpers, where I just give it a cat object. All the stuff from the form, like a whole schema of that form, is sent back, and I get Supabase client. This is nasty, but I'm going to have to show you. And there's probably a way for people who know Vue.js. Actually, what you get with Vue.js, these reactive properties, they are reactive, and they have, like, I won't go into it now, we don't have time, but you need to remove the reactivity of that object and just get the normal JSON. And this is like horrible but elegant way to do that. There must be a way. Please, in the chat, if you know, tell me how to do it differently, to go from a reactive object to just an object. Anyways, you can see this is kind of work in progress. I just, added all the fields, but this is not where the magic is. I'm just updating the thing, right? But I have an update Algolia function with that same cat object that we're saving to the database here. So in Algolia, this is actually relatively simple. This is on the server, right? So this is actually in Node.js. This is basically, I'm grabbing my Algolia ID, my admin API key, and my index from my runtime config in Nuxt. And I essentially just create a new Algolia search. I grab the index, and then there's my ugly string again to make it a normal object. I could have probably passed the normal object here. There's something I can fix. Anyways, I grab the object ID. This is the identifier in Algolia, which is the same as my cat ID that I have in my database from Postgres. And basically, I'm just saving one object with the Algolia index manager. And if it doesn't exist, because I could actually make a new cat and then start, and then when I hit save, it goes here as well. And then if it doesn't exist, just generate a new object in Algolia directly with the information that you just got. And that's about it. If I remove a cat, we do the same function. It's called delete object or save object. Like, Algolia's SDK works so well, there's actually not more to show. And it kind of just works. And so this is how I tend to mix and match everything up. And most likely the future of this thing will be that probably I will query more from Algolia because the results are so fast, right? Maybe even this page I'll get from Algolia as well. I have the information there. And so the website, it has a few more things, because if you sign up here yourself, I'm also building a little page builder where you can basically build your own homepage and your own components that can then grab the latest cats and things like that. But this is not for today. So this is what I wanted to show you. I hope it made sense. I'm sure Tim has a few questions, but I'm not sure we have time for that.
No, we do have a bit of time. I actually have a few questions.
Here we go.
My very first was, but you answered it, like, you have the full listing that is coming from Algolia, and then when you go to a detailed page, it's coming from Supabase. But
yes,
you mentioned that it could also be coming from Algolia.
The more I think about it, the more I might want to have Algolia as a source of truth. But I'm not sure that's the way. I can do it, but it gets expensive fast also.
There's also the fact that maybe not in your use case, but what we usually recommend is to have your database as the source of truth, because there are some information in the database that you need for your own way of having your thing work that you do not need to expose.
Yeah. That's true here, because later on, what I want to do is, if there's like 20 associations putting all their cats in here, I want to be able to make statistics based on the database of all of them.
Yeah.
And that makes a lot more sense with all the extra data. For example, these adoption families that I put in, I'm not going to put it in Algolia because there's personal data and stuff like that. So you're right.
We have someone in the chat, Levi from our team, that is sending the link to convert your React object in Vue. There's a to-row method you can call on it to transform it into, apparently, to a raw JSON object.
Oh, I'm just checking that link now.
That was fast. I really love the fact that you really demonstrate that how you integrate both Algolia and Supabase inside of Nuxt. So I could see how the various components, both from Nuxt and from Algolia, were wrapped into each other. Like, we can see it's an ecosystem and they work together. It really showed that they are both tools that can work really well together. I don't know if you've managed to watch the very first presentation we had by Juni, where she showed the MySQL connector. And there's
Actually, I didn't. I had to run out and do something about cats, actually. But I did hear her talk about in the beginning about this MySQL thing. And so there might be something to simplify my approach.
so I think there's a Postgre that's coming soon. That would be even easier. Like you only update into Supabase and it's automatically synchronized back into Algolia.
Ooh, I like that. That's very interesting because now I do a lot of manual work to get that done.
Yeah, and so you're saving, when you hit save, it's saving on Algolia and on Supabase in parallel, right? Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So I first put it in the database, and then whatever that data that I was saving in the database, I don't query again, but I just send it to Algolia.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, that might be a way to plug them together. So there's a source of truth, and Algolia is only a copy specifically for search.
Exactly. It feels a little bit like the side crawler you guys have with Netlify.
Exactly.
Right? It's similar vibe. Yeah.
You are like the best guest I could have because this is exactly what I wanted to talk about
How
before
about that?
introducing the next speaker. So thank you so much, Tim.
So now you give me a free crawler instance. No, I'm just kidding.
No. Stay with us. I will share something pretty interesting for you.
Oh, nice.
Thank you so much, Tim. See you
Cheers.
soon.
Thanks.